Haven't seen you since the...
I saw you fly on the wings of the Ten. I would say that I am...
Thank you, I guess.
It is I who should be thanking you.
Were you able to finish the new arm Gaia was helping you with?
Indeed. I was hoping we could discuss it, if you have a moment.
Did you meet...
There is something about her that doesn't seem natural. I wouldn't be surprised if my sword went through her and she didn't bleed at all.
Honestly, with her, nothing would surprise me. Your people keep mentioning the wings of the Ten. What exactly does it mean?
The visions tell us that the Ten flew on great metal machines with wings and leapt into battle from the sky. For us, to imitate this feat is the ultimate expression of martial prowess. It is why the challengers leap into the arena during the Kulrut. And now, you have done it. Like the deeds of the Ten themselves, it will never be forgotten. So, tell me, how did it feel?
I won't lie. Pretty good.
I can only imagine.
Look, I know you, but I want her on our side.
It is more than she deserves.
Thank you, Kotallo. Have you spoken with...
The Quen is peculiar. Her mind is sharp. That much is certain.
Trust me. She...
I will take your word.
You nervous?
If I live, it will be in... What matters most is that...
I'll do my best. Anything new going on?
The Quen has been more insistent than usual, asking about the vision. Her pursuit of knowledge is relentless. The Ten would have a hard time fighting her off.
Just think of her like one of your chaplains.
Yes. Only...
Things will get ugly once the Zeniths realize.
I would have it known. Many soldiers died in the old world to make sure we stood here today. We will endure on their behalf. Though, I am curious how you intend to defeat the Zenith's defenses without an army of our own.
Leave that to me. Just make sure you're ready to fight.
As you say. You have more than earned my trust.
How are your studies?
I wanted to learn more.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh, Gaia, and learned about the to think that the ancient world was wiped. There is no glory or honor in such a fate.
That about sums it up. Think you're ready to put...
I am Tenakth. I am...
You wanted to talk about your arm?
Indeed. It's time to test it. And I want you to be there.
Okay. How are we doing this?
Not how. Where? Will you meet me where we felled Regalla's tremor tusk? Right where the river bends?
Sure, if you want, but I'm not sure I understand.
You'll see when we get there.
Then I'll let you know when I get...
You have my thanks.
I have to go.
Understood.
Like I said, I'll call you when I'm close to Regalla's...
May the Ten guide...
There you are. Well done, Aloy. Despite my reservations, you managed to secure Sylens and his weapon. You're truly a shining example of...
I've been thinking about what you said at your house. It was more than that, wasn't it?
perceptive as ever.
Okay, so... what happened?
I was an orphan. I had always been alone. By my 30s, I was starting to wonder if that was simply my fate in life. and then I met Liz. We kept running into each other at conferences. We'd have coffee. At some point, it became drinks. I thought it was just shop talk, an exchange of ideas, but then I was surprised at how much I looked forward to seeing her. Soon we were flying halfway across the world every other week just to meet up. For the first time, I didn't feel lonely. I could imagine a future where I wasn't. I think Liz felt the same way at first. She had lost her mother a few years back. I filled a void for her. I know I did. But as time passed, it seemed as though she wanted less when I wanted more. And so we ended things.
So helping me. Restoring Elizabeth's dream. It's what?
A second chance, yes. I made a mistake leaving Earth while Liz stayed behind. I should have done more. So when I saw you, a woman who has carved her own remarkable path, beyond even what made Liz a phenomenon, I knew I had to help you. To do right by her.
Why do you think Elizabeth pulled away?
I've wondered that for 1,000 years. She was brilliant, visionary, but it also felt like she kept everyone at arm's length, including me. I think, in the end, she had a core.
I found a recording of you and Elizabeth back in the Proving Lab after Farzineth's attempt to steal Gaia.
Yes, a most unpleasant conversation.
She said something after the call. I think she regretted how things ended between you.
Did she? All this time, thank you for telling me. I've always hated that those were the last words we ever said to each other. And that her last impression of me was as a functionary of Far Zenith, not who I truly am.
When it's time to break into the Zenith base, what can we expect?
I'll go over the full layout once you've assembled your friends. Suffice it to say, we will need to push as fast as possible to Beta and Gaia's location, dealing with heavy resistance along the way. There are also printing facilities where the others have been amassing the natural resources they've stripped from the region.
What for?
First for use in the base's infrastructure, and then to fabricate more Spectre drones, a small army of them.
When I was out in the wilds, I saw a shuttle take off from the island, heading for space.
It was likely ferrying materials to and from our ship in orbit. After hundreds of years luxuriating in our digital comforts, the ship was barely space-worthy when we made our escape. Disaster can strike at any moment. We've learned our lesson.
Have you figured out how silent...
No, and he's been very careful. I'll admit it bothers me, but I am confident it will deactivate the other shields on Matt.
How many of them are in the base?
10, including Eric and Gerard. Only a handful of us made it to our ship when our colony collapsed.
So, Eric...
I believe he got worse over time. On Earth, he was the founder of a profitable private military, even as governments abandoned human combatants. He found success with clientele that required him more. There were also rumors that he personally... But on Sirius, he retreated to virtual reality simulations. In them, he could go on rampages as violent as he pleased.
All of his tribe believes he was one of the greatest people from the old world.
Then they would be quite disappointed to meet him. Though I'm sure he'd bask in the adoration.
What can you tell me about Gerard?
He was the head of the world's largest financial company. It made him one of the wealthiest people on Earth. And
What does one person do with that?
buy more power, more influence. Gerard's always believed himself to be a refined patrician, able to maintain control with a polished smile. But beneath that exterior is a cold and calculating operator. It was his decision to restrict Beta's upbringing to her digital educators, the avatars of the Apollo database, while we were painted as her benefactors.
Well, we'll deal with him soon enough. And the others.
I would very much like to see his face
When I was in the ruins of Vegas,
Stanley, ever the When we established our colony, he built lights, shows, gambling, and while others cloistered themselves in their own...
the way you're talking about him, I'm guessing he didn't make it back to Earth.
No, he perished when our colony was destroyed. He would have been thrilled to discover that part of his beloved city.
When Beta escaped and hid in an ancient research facility, I saw another one of the Zeniths. Verbena. Who was she?
A dull star amidst a sea of brighter. Unlike most of Far Zenith's members who amassed their wealth through Verbena inherited her billions. Her father had achieved great success in the... At age 24, she became the world's most eligible bachelorette. Someone who leverages their fame.
What? Like a cult?
In a way, yes.
Well, she must have done something right to have survived this long.
She was her own brand of ruthless. That much is true. But even rats can cling to
Okay, so I've had
an array of the wealthiest people on Earth.
And let me guess. All self...
Most, but not all. There were a few with whom I got along. Annika Murjani, she founded the Holonet's most successful day, and I had fascinating discussions with some. Our immortality treatments are doing, but then there were others like Devin Miller, the CEO. His only real preoccupations were perfecting his golf. When I think about all of us, we really should have accomplished more. We had eternity.
Why did you make the data channel look like your house?
I built that house as a shelter to weather any storm. Cultural artifacts of
And you wanted Beta?
Yes. I thought if she... A heritage... I'm sorry,
You said before that you're not like the others,
Out of necessity. Both when Earth was consumed and when I did what I had to. Hence the data channel with Beta. The secret passage into their base and the little trick I pulled to save you.
Okay,
I'll be here and thank you, Abe. My path. I see Liz's dream.
maybe we can make it happen.
We will.